Unbreakable. Welcome to the franchise. I am your host over here in the town where it's all happening, Henry. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, home of the Shyamalan verse.
That's right. And this is episode 136, covering the 117 trilogy.
Yeah, I saw that on Wikipedia. Yeah. They're calling it like the train number 117 trilogy and it's named after like the train that crashes at the beginning of Unbreakable.
Uh-huh.
That name sucks.
Yeah.
Call it something else.
I don't know if it feels like that was a fan thing. I don't know.
It must have been,
too, though.
But I mean, It might be him. He's all about naming ridiculous shit. Hey, the Scarfs. Hey, I think they just call it the Shyamalan trilogy. What are we doing? He hasn't made any others.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's true.
The Philadelphia trilogy, Kevin Smith calls his movie the New Jersey Chronicles.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Although all of his movies take place in Philadelphia, so I don't know.
Well, you can find a way to reverse engineer it so that, the happening takes place in this universe.
There you go.
Yeah. The lady inside of the water.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Does The Village take place in Philadelphia?
Outside of Philly, yep.
Yeah, Henry, I thought it was a town that was settled before Philadelphia.
Oh, who fucking knows? I don't know. I haven't seen that movie since the theater.
Oh, I was just trying not to spoil the ending because Shyamalan loves a twist ending.
It's not spoiled because it was already written before he did it in a children's book.
What are you talking about?
Don't you remember that? Not the first time he's been sued for that.
He was sued for The Village?
Yeah, because there was a woman who wrote a children's book about a community of people who lived in a period, wanted to live in a past time, and it turns out you find out at the end of the book that they're actually living in the present. I think they settled out of court.
M. Night Shyamalan, one of our most important filmmakers for about 2 years there. I'm a fan, I gotta say. So I'm excited to be talking about this movie. I stuck with Shyamalan to the bitter end. I've not seen Last Airbender because it's not even because of Shyamalan. It's because if I want to see a Shyamalan movie, I want to see a goddamn Shyamalan movie, bro. It's sort of like how when Paul Thomas Anderson made Inherent Vice, I wasn't that into it because it's like, stop wasting your time making a Thomas Pynchon movie. I want to see a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. To me, M. Night Shyamalan, it's like, what? We're doing an adaptation of this shitty Nickelodeon cartoon, and before you fucking get to me on the internet, I know it's supposed to be great. That Nickelodeon cartoon is supposed to be great.
It's okay. Yeah, I'm a fan too. I will be seeing Glass next week, and that'll have been my 9th of his films I've seen. I've seen 8 of them, and I believe all 8 of his that I saw I did see in the theater. So I can't say that of many people. I will say that I stopped at The Happening and gave it a good 9-year break.
Henry, I rewatched The Happening this very year.
Right. I remember you. I don't remember what you thought.
It's not bad.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
I could. You know what?
I'm here to tell you that The Happening is a hip and happening movie, bro. No, it's totally watchable.
Well, I remember I saw it on a day off from Union Square, and I went to the AMC there on 34th Street. Figured, what the hell? I'll give this guy one more shot. That was literally in my head because it had been after Lady in the Water, and I figured I'm going to give
Lady in the Water was rough even for me.
Yeah, and so I said I'm going to give him one shot, and more than you, because we're both not fans of the Wahlberg. but he bothers me far less than he bothers you. But he was one of the main reasons that movie was
I agree. And to me, the problem with The Happening is he's making a 50s paranoia movie along the lines of like the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And Mark Wahlberg doesn't understand any tones other than the Mark Wahlberg tone.
Right.
And so Shyamalan was not able to harness his essence into a performance. So, listen, I'm not going to sit here and defend The Happening all day, but it's all right, and it's a sweet, sweet 90 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it since. I never wanted to see it again, but we'll see what happens.
All right, but we're going to talk way more about that next week when we rank all the M. Night movies.
Right.
This week, we're talking about the Train 117 trilogy, parts 1 and 2.
That's right.
Unbreakable and Unbreakable Reloaded.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's Unbreakable and Split.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Unbreakable, of course, came out in the year of our Lord 2000, right after Y2K. And
right.
He was riding high on the success of The Sixth Sense, which I think had just come out the year before, right?
That's right.
You'd expect him to take some more time with that follow-up, but Shyamalan was like, don't worry about it. I have 12 scripts in my drawer.
I know he's always, or used to, doesn't do it anymore, but I know he always was already working on the next movie during the one he was filming. Might explain some stuff, but focus there, Knight. But yeah. I remember I saw Unbreakable in the theater. I was in college.
Did you see The Sixth Sense in theaters?
Yes, but I saw, this was one of those occasions, unbelievably in this case, where I saw The Sixth Sense like at its very tail end of theatrical runs. And when it first came out, I had no desire to see it. I didn't know anything about him or anything. And a friend of mine who was in college told me how great it was. And I was like, well, everybody's talking about this ending. And I'm never going to see it. So you might as well tell me. And so he told me. And so
Smart.
So the impact of, so then I decided, well, I should still see it in the theater. It was almost like a second run. You know what I mean? Like it had been made.
Well, that was a movie that was such a word of mouth hit that it was in theaters forever.
Right. So my opinion of that movie had never really been able to be valid that much because of that twist. Of course, I've always been a firm believer in that no matter what the film is, that shouldn't really impact your.
Well, I don't think it does. To me, the best part of The Sixth Sense is the basic tone.
Yes, yes.
And that's kind of the best part of a lot of M. Night Shyamalan movies. The thing I like about Shyamalan
we'll talk about it next week.
He takes his goddamn time.
He really does.
There's a lot of long pauses. There's a lot of just slowly moving cameras, slowly revealing a thing. I kind of dig it, man. And his movies, the performances lend themselves to underplaying.
Oh, 100% right. Yeah. There's a lot of. I think he does have a knack for the most part of getting the right actors for the roles he's writing. And I mean, Bruce Willis is not the most emotive person to begin with, but to get him to try to do some subtlety, even more so in this than even in The Sixth Sense, is pretty remarkable. I think he does a pretty damn good job.
He sure does, Henry.
Yeah.
And he's got that rug in The Sixth Sense, and Shyamalan's like, Bruce, pop that baby off for this one.
Pop that one on, pop one on Sam Jackson.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, that is quite a hair. That hairstyle was nominated for a special award for like the Razzies or the Stinkers or something, and I was like, "What are you fucking talking about? That's one of the best parts."
That's dumb.
Yeah.
Get me Robin Wright. She's awesome.
Listen,
get me another bad kid actor. Check.
He's not bad. Listen, we'll talk about Unbreakable.
Not a fan.
Let's talk about it. Isn't his name like Treat Williams? Spencer Treat? Treaty Treats.
Spencer
Unbreakable.
Treat Clark.
Is that what his name is? Another Spencer child actor.
That's right.
He's sort of like if Spencer Breslin and Treat Williams had a love child.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, they cried a lot.
Now
Yeah.
picture them fucking.
Okay.
Henry, Unbreakable, written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. Now, this was like, is he gonna avoid the sophomore slump? That was the thing. Like, because Shyamalan came out of the ether with Sixth Sense. Everyone was like, who's this new great filmmaker? He's the next Alfred Hitchcock.
Right.
I remember he shows up in like one scene of Sixth Sense as a doctor, and like people were like, "Ooh, he's even like shows up in a cameo like Hitchcock."
Yeah.
And but people don't remember that he made like 2 indie movies in the 90s that like no
I think
one
just
saw.
one. No.
Well,
Wide
one.
Awake.
No. Before that, he made Wide Awake wasn't even an indie movie. It was like Disney. But before Wide Awake, even he made a movie called Praying with Anger or something.
Oh yeah, right.
I
didn't
think
remember
he
if
starred
directed
in that.
or not. Yeah.
Yeah, that's him. And he's in there being short. And so Unbreakable comes out, and will he avoid the sophomore slump? So he writes and directs this movie. It is released November 22nd, the year 2000.
Yeah, I think I saw it opening weekend.
I definitely did. I think I saw Sixth Sense opening weekend too, just because the buzz was ramping up. It was like
Right.
I want to say it was like a late August release when they throw.
I think you're right.
That's when like studios throw movies up there where it's like this might be something, but probably not.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was. He had a budget of $75 million to make Unbreakable.
Yeah, and I was noticing that obviously with the difference in budget with Split, and it's quite remarkable.
Yeah, it's not even all the way on screen. Because you know what? Like, with a $75 million budget, Shyamalan, he could have, like, shot a big train crash or something.
I know. I'm actually not really sure. I mean, I'm imagining that some of that budget absolutely must have just been the price tag of Jackson and Willis, because I don't know really when you what it was spent on. I mean, he had a high profile composer. He had 2 big actors.
He himself, Henry, got paid $5 million to write this movie and $5 million to direct.
Well, does that count in the 75?
Probably, and then
there you go. Yeah.
But I'm just saying that shit.
No, you're right.
That's how hot M. Night was, baby.
Yeah, and I remember too a very specific feeling at the time of when I saw it in the theater initially. I was blown away by it. I loved it, and almost nobody else I knew gave a shit about it who saw it.
Really?
I don't know if it was the crowd I was hanging around with at the time, but everybody was like, what a letdown. And I was like, no fucking way. It's way better than The Sixth Sense. And I actually still think that. But I thought it right in the moment. I was like, this is awesome.
I did too.
Did you really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was big on Unbreakable. It was one of my favorite movies of that year. It was on my top 10 list, and it still is. And I went nuts for Unbreakable. I thought it was dynamite. Like, after Unbreakable was when I was like, this guy's one of my favorite filmmakers.
Yeah, sure. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And then
I was eagerly awaiting Signs.
So was I.
Mm-hmm.
And continued to eagerly await The Village.
Yeah.
And then started to diminish, eagerly awaits to, okay, let's see what he's going to do next.
Yeah, totally.
Into I'll give him one more shot into a 9-year hiatus.
Well, honestly, it was because Lady in the Water was so bad. Like, I didn't see The Happening in theaters. And I remember when Lady in the Water came out, I was still like, oh my God, Lady in the Water. It's the new Shyamalan. I got to see this fucking thing. I'm so excited. Right. I think I went the day it came out. And it was so bad. Like, it's really, honestly, one of the worst movies I've ever seen in theaters.
I agree.
It like put me off Shyamalan forever.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I remember we're talking like about stuff we're probably going to talk about next week.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
So anyway, okay, so Unbreakable.
Yeah, let's
a
get on
budget of
this movie.
$75 million, a box office of $248.1 million.
That's a hit.
That's a hit.
Yeah.
It was written for Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson, and he's M. Night Shyamalan, the hottest guy in the world at this point. So he was like, they were like, of course, Mr. Knight, we'll be in your movie. All right. Although, did you know that Julianne Moore was originally cast in the Robin Wright role?
No.
She was like cast. They were about to film with her, and then she got offered Clarice in Hannibal.
Oh, really?
And she left to go off and do that.
That's too bad for her. But,
yeah, at the time, that was probably the right move, though, right?
Oh, totally, 100%. I mean, at the time, that's kind of just not really. Plus, the role in Unbreakable is very minor, so she's being offered something massive.
Yep. So they gave it to old neck crevice, old neck wound, old neck hole. You know.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Henry,
she's a sexy lady.
This distracts me about Robin Wright. It has for years, and it's gotten even worse with age, Henry.
Okay. All right.
Where her neck meets her chest, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It forms a cavern, okay?
Like her sternum area, her breastbone.
Above that.
Above.
It's her neck. It's the bottom neck. It forms a neck hole. It looks almost like when you see someone with lung cancer smoke a cigarette out of their neck. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Sure.
No, you don't. You're lying to placate me.
Yeah, a little. Because I'm trying to envision her.
I can't keep my eyes off of it when she's on screen.
I understand where you're coming from with certain actors and actresses having distractive facial or bodily features.
But this,
so I get it.
It doesn't just distract me. It makes me feel weird to the point where I get a little weak in the knees when she's on screen. Oh, what's going on there?
Right, not a weak in the knees in a good way.
No, I get wobbly.
Yeah.
Like, you know when you see something, like, and it just takes the air out of you?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Robin Wright's neck.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that'd be real hard for you to sit through some of her stuff then.
Well, House of Cards was a real endurance trial for me.
Well,
and now even worse. Yeah.
Well, who watches it now anyway? Jesus.
Well, I'm going to watch the last season at some point.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Actually, I quit that show after the second season way before
that was probably the right move, but
it just got too much, too boring, too ridiculous. I thought the
stuck
first season was
with
great,
it, and I'll see it to the end.
If you've been this long, I guess. I only watched that in the first place because it was Fincher was involved.
Yeah, involved. What, he directed 2 episodes?
I didn't care.
I'll bet you Fincher has never watched an episode of House of Cards.
I believe that's probably totally right.
Yeah.
Until he did Mindhunter. He moved on.
And he directed more episodes of that, and it's a better show.
Fucking A on both counts.
Yeah. Unbreakable came in over there. It was kind of a little bit of a disappointment. It made $248.1 million on a $75 million budget, which is like kind of a hit, but also like not what they wanted. Sixth Sense was huge. They gave him a huge budget for this fucking thing, and it didn't quite do what they wanted it to. And he was talking it up like, this is going to be a franchise. I'm going to make a trilogy out of this thing.
Yeah.
And Disney did not let him.
Yeah. I feel like that's one of those things where they gave a guy a huge budget based upon his prior movie, but I bet he knew he didn't need that much money. But probably, what do you say in that situation? Do you say, no, I'm good with 10?
Well, Kevin Smith, not to bring up fucking Kevin Smith again.
No, I think I know why, but go ahead.
But he was given $6 million for his second movie, Mallrats, which is relatively small. But he said he knew he could shoot that movie for like $500,000.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't
And
know
he
this was what you're saying.
said like one of his biggest regrets on that movie, because it ended up losing money. It made less than $6 million.
Sure.
Was not just like telling the studio like, I don't need $6 million for this movie about people talking in a mall.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And Shyamalan, this
Yeah,
is a
so I
pretty
think-
small fucking movie. It doesn't have many. It has one action sequence. The fucking train crash happens off camera. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, it looks beautiful. Like
Right.
but like they could have done this on a smaller budget. Now I feel like a filmmaker has a hit movie like Sixth Sense, and first of all, now they'll just give him a franchise. If fucking
That's right.
Shyamalan directed The Sixth Sense today, now
That's
that was
right.
like his first movie,
I agree.
his second movie would be a Star Wars movie.
I agree. And also 20 years ago, remember, you know, word of mouth was the big thing, man, in 99. So this guy's getting built up, but, you know, we don't have this explosion of filmmakers all over the place being able to make films on phones and all kinds
Right.
of different devices. So it's almost like the last few years of that type of filmmaking where you make something and then they latch on and they're like, oh, there you go.
Yeah, welcome to the club, Mr.
Exactly.
Shyamalan.
Yeah, now it's like the club is got like 8 million members in it. So.
Yeah. Well,
And gladly so, because I think there's a lot of talented people who now are able to do this stuff that could never have been able to do it before. So
now an up
Kevin
and coming
Smith is a lucky guy.
Yeah, an up and coming filmmaker now has two choices. They can do a Ryan Coogler and have your next and just go franchise, make Black Panther. Go ahead,
Yeah,
have fun. Or you can be like a Barry Jenkins or a Sean Baker, and then like you have like one movie that's like successful in the indie world, and then it's just like, okay, you're Annapurna or A24s now, and they'll give you fucking $12 million for whatever you want to do, and then you could just keep making movies every couple of years.
For our listeners, Barry Jenkins was the director of Moonlight, right? And then what else did he just do?
If Beale Street could talk.
Right. And now for me and our listeners, because I didn't know, Sean Baker did.
Tangerine and the Florida Project.
That would have been my guess. Okay. All right. I would have said Tangerine because of the phone reference, but okay. I didn't know he did the Florida Project too. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he really stayed small anyway then.
Yeah, marginally bigger. You know, he shot his first movie on iPhones, and like for his second movie, he was like, I'll get Willem Dafoe.
Right. That was his confession. That was it. It was like, can I have Willem Dafoe? That'd be enough for me.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. Like that would be a great if more directors were like that. You know, like they made their film, it made a mark, and then their only request was like, I'd really love Robert Richardson to be my cinematographer. Can I get him? That's all I want. I don't need any actors. Like, all right, fine.
Yeah, for sure. Henry,
Yeah.
what a fun conversation this has been. Do you want to do Do you want to do our 2000 lists?
Yeah, because mine got altered by one.
I changed mine. I worked hard on this list.
I had done it a while ago, but I altered one spot.
Okay.
Think you'll be happy with it too.
All right. So this is a really good year, and it's got a lot of.
I disagree, but
Listen, but here's the difference. Because it doesn't have a lot of like really great, like there's not a lot of classics from the year 2000, but I have a lot of movies I personally have a lot of affection for.
Actually, I agree. I've got like 6 honorable mentions, which I wasn't even going to say. But yeah, you're right. Like there's nothing that's amazingly probably close to my heart. But
There's a bunch that are close to my heart, Henry.
yeah, okay, then I just contradicted what I just said. Yeah, there aren't movies. You have a lot of movies that are close to your heart, but we both agree there's not like any real true masterpieces.
Well, that's the thing. It's
So
one of
few.
those years where like I don't know what the number one is. And so I just went with one that I love. Like for years I had Traffic at number one for this year.
I think that is the number one movie, but
But
it's
I
not
don't
mine.
think Traffic
Yeah.
is like a masterpiece. Like to me that
Yeah.
felt like the safe choice. Like no one's going to give me shit for putting Traffic at number one.
Right.
But
I
like
understand.
I don't know. It's not
My list
it's
is
not
pretty
Soderbergh's
personal.
best, and you know it's been done better now in other mediums, The Wire, or, you know, Narcos or something. But
Sicario.
Sicario, yeah, absolutely. The first Sicario and the first Sicario
First two
only.
Sicario.
And okay, so what is your? Oh, I have honorable mentions here. I'll throw them out right now.
Go ahead.
Castaway, Snatch, Shadow of the Vampire, and Ghost Dog: Way of the Samurai.
I agree with all of those honorable mentions. I'll add to those since you took some of mine there. I'll add to those The Patriot, Virgin Suicide,
Ooh, yes.
X-Men, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And did you say Wonder Boys?
No, but that's good too.
Oh, and the original Kings of Comedy.
Oh, hell yeah, good call.
So there you go. Yeah. All right. Number 10, making its list debut, believe it, after almost, well, we're coming up on our third year. This is the first time
Making its list debut. First time on the list. I repeat, the first time this has been on my list. It has not been on it before. It's my debut list. Here it is. Number 10.
It's kind of becoming one of my favorite bits. I don't know why. I took off 13 days.
Thank God. Jesus Christ. 13 days. What? You forgot about me?
Who the hell is that supposed to be?
It's my JFK.
Oh. Okay.
It sounds just like him, right?
I'm actually thinking this number 10 was on my original list when we did them together originally, but it had been taken off anyway. So it's back or whatever, or its debut. Number 10, Unbreakable.
Okay, my number 10 is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Good one. Number 9 is
I
Tigerland.
am a man of constant sorrow. Sorry.
All right. Great song.
Yeah. Number 9, what'd you say, Tigerland?
Yep.
All right, my number 9 is American Psycho.
My number 8 is Best in Show.
Yep, great. My number 8 is Boiler Room.
Another great.
Hey, Henry. Recco!
Good call. Number 7. It's for me, ma. The caravan's for me, ma, and the boys when I put on them shoes. That's for Snatch.
Yeah, it's good. I knew it. My number 7 is Best in Show.
All right. My number 6 is Boiler Room.
My number 6 is High Fidelity.
Heavy hitters. These are the grand slams, the slap shots, the three-pointers, the touchdowns, the curling when the puck gets close to the circle. These are the heavy hitters of the franchise. Heavy hitters.
Bamboozled.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Too long, but great. My number 5 is Unbreakable.
Nice. Number 4, Requiem for a Dream.
Yep. My number 4 is You Can Count on Me.
What a great film. That's got to be on there somewhere for me. All right. Number 3, Traffic.
That's my number 3.
Interesting. My number 2 is American Psycho.
My number 2 is George Washington.
Yeah, never saw it. And the number 1 movie of 2000, you must have changed yours because now I bet you it's mine, High Fidelity.
I already said High Fidelity was my number 6.
I missed that.
Yeah.
High Fidelity.
Henry, my number 1, and I changed it last time we did this list, is a movie I can watch over and over again for the rest of my life. It is not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like this movie, I understand why. But boy, does it make me laugh and cry and feel lots of stuff. It is Almost Famous.
Oh, yeah, you do love that movie. Yeah. Never really been a fan.
And you might ask if I'm referring to the theatrical release or the untitled director's cut, and I tell you, they're both great. All right.
Obviously, you'd be referring to the theatrical release because of your firm belief in non-director's cuts.
That's true. That's true, but I really do like that director's cut, and it's like a totally different movie. It's like almost from a different character's perspective.
Yeah, it's kind of like Blade Runner.
No.
Moving on.
Listen, but if we did Almost Famous for the show, we would do the theatrical release.
All right.
I hate you.
All right, let's go.
Unbreakable. It starts out with M. Night giving you some comic book facts.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
It's very
been a long
weird.
time. When was the last time you saw it? We always try to talk about that.
It's been a really long time.
Me too,
I had
yeah.
this movie on DVD years ago, but like I don't know. I think I saw it like in theaters, then like a couple times when it first came out on video, and like
Yeah,
I
I think I
probably
did the
haven't
same.
seen this since I was like 18 maybe.
I think I've seen it more than you, but I never
You've seen
owned it.
anything more than me.
Great point. Yeah, but I never owned it, and I'm sorry that I didn't buy it this time. I thought about buying it on Blu-ray because I actually was interested to see these. I'm never interested in this shit. I got to be honest with you, depending on the topic of the movie. But apparently, there's like 15 minutes of deleted scenes. I'd be very interested to see what those are. Just because it's such a beautifully shot movie and acted, I'd love to see what was put on the cutting room floor. But yeah, I love those stats. At the
What do you
beginning.
think?
Then they're not necessary, but
There's totally on that. What is it? The sales figures? Like I feel like the movie starts with him going like X-Men sold well this month. And
But we get rid of that pretty quick, and we go to an absolutely amazing sequence. And I didn't I just say a few weeks ago, or even sooner than that, I never wanted to see another labor.
yeah,
scene
you
again.
did. You did say that. This is a good one.
Yeah, this is a
Because it's
great
eerie.
one.
Ooh.
The music is phenomenal, and
Hey, the music throughout is phenomenal. This James Newton Howard fella, he knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. We've covered him multiple times. He is absolutely capable of writing shit, but this is one of his best scores ever. He's very outside his comfort zone, and I think that's got to do with Shyamalan. I think he works pretty closely with the composers he uses, and he's using a lot of percussion. It's not overbearing. It's like this kind of funky, kind of haunting strings thing. It's really good.
Funky.
And it gets your, he's slapping the bass a little bit, and
Irie.
yeah, Irie, man, slapping the bass. And
Protect your neck. Protect your neck.
Great score, and it brings you right in, doesn't it? It just brings you right in.
Yeah, so it's a Philadelphia department store, 1961, and I'm like, oh, Philadelphia, what an interesting setting. And, it's a lady, she's giving birth, and this is going to be the Sam Jackson character. He's born, all his arms and legs are broken.
Yeah, but
but I love the way it's done.
Yes.
He goes, Did one of you drop this baby? Is
that's
accusatory.
so good.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And they're like, no.
The white woman's reaction is so good too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, Jesus Christ, no! It's very like that. Took me off guard because he still always makes PG-13 movies. With like one exception. And
What's the exception?
isn't The Visit rated R?
Oh, it might be. I don't know if it is.
I thought it was like a big fucking deal. Like he made his one rated R movie. Everybody was going
What's
nuts.
rated R about it? The kid swearing when he's rapping? That's
knows?
remember that there's a little kid who keeps rapping in that movie?
No,
You don't?
I remember
That's
liking
like the
movie
only
all
thing
right,
I
but-
remember about it. I just remember like that's a good movie, but what about that little kid rapping?
Yeah, I only remember the ending.
PG-13. I just looked it up.
All right, there's something R he wrote. Maybe he wrote Devil. I don't know.
Devil. I like Devil.
I did too. Maybe
Yeah.
that was it.
It's a people trapped somewhere together movie.
Yeah. But anyway, there was something I just forgot about that opening and her reaction, and I was just kind of like, wow, this is very like it's giving it a very reality based.
The whole thing is reality based. It's a reality based superhero movie, and it's a thing that in the intervening years has been done to fucking death. And
yeah, it's true.
And look, it's a thing that had been done in comics before. I mean, in the 80s, that was like a big milieu for superheroes, was to try and do it like realistic. I'm talking about like Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen, and like this is how it would actually be and shit.
Right. But this is prior to the that stuff happening in the movies.
No, of course. That's what I'm saying.
No.
And I just think this movie makes some of the other movies that have done that look like garbage.
I totally agree. And actually, one of the other things I meant about the reality was also something that never occurred to me. I thought it was some really interesting, completely subtle, to the point where you might not even think about it, but I was, given the time we live in now and the time it shows, it says 1961. So I'm thinking, we're in Philadelphia, but that doesn't matter because a black woman is working in a department store, and it occurred to me in the scene.
Does she work there?
I
was thinking she was a customer.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think that.
Okay.
I didn't think that at all. You could be right, but if I'm right, it would speak to the time.
I could be crazy, but maybe I'm the lunatic you're looking for, Henry.
It could be. It could be. From the great BJ. The ghost BJ.
Henry, have I said on this podcast about the time Billy Joel came into the Blockbuster that I worked on Long Island at?
No, and I want to hear it, but can I try to please finish my thought?
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you. If indeed she was an employee, that means that a woman in 1961 had to work until her water broke.
It's about right.
So no maternity leave happening there.
No.
So that just went through my mind. I was like, motherfucking racist, sexist bastards making this woman work in a department store, give birth in the fucking clothing, the changing room.
It reminded me of that fucking scene in
and
Roma.
They got a black doctor. I mean, think of that. They probably were like, oh, we better call a black doctor. You know.
Yeah.
I want to sully those white hands.
Jesus.
I'm sorry. It's where my mind is these days. I get it. But I thought
is it because of our racist president?
Yeah, it might be.
Okay.
It's hard to not think about that stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so go ahead. Tell us the ghost BJ.
Well, I want to say that made me think of the Roma department store scene.
I finished Roma, by the way.
Did you see the department store scene?
Yeah, I saw the whole movie.
What'd you think?
I mean, that's when her water broke.
I don't. No spoilers for Roma. It just came out. But what did you like? Did you like the movie more than you thought?
Spoilers. It's really long, and you could come in and out of the room 18 times.
Did it grow on you at all?
I mean, it picked up after the first 65, 70 minutes. No, it did, but I don't understand this masterpiece talk.
I don't think it's a masterpiece either.
It's a beautiful looking movie in black and white that's more like a memory of someone who had what I consider to be a pretty decent childhood.
Well, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, you did last week. Surrounded by some chaos, but really never showing the chaos, showing it maybe twice.
Yeah.
And I don't, it's very detached. Unlike Cuarón's other movies, which I never find to be too detached.
I didn't find it detached.
Yeah, it felt to me like I felt watching Roma like critics probably felt, a lot of them. Even I remember reading even Spielberg saying when they first watched Barry Lyndon, like it's just a bunch of beautiful shots to be beautiful shots, and I totally disagree with that on Barry Lyndon. But with this, I was just like, my Lord. I mean, I don't know. I think people are suckers for directors telling their childhood stories.
I don't give a shit about that, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's a masterfully made movie in terms of the way it looks, but there's no close-ups either. Wasn't that strange?
So Billy Joel came into Blockbuster.
For our bonus episode of Roma.
I'm working there on Long Island. You know, Barnes & Noble, we saw celebrities all the time. You don't see celebrities on the Blockbuster.
Give me a year reference for this.
I wanna say this is a 2005 or 6 situation.
Oh, all right.
Okay. So Billy Joel walks in, and it's like, this is the guy. He's king of Long Island. I fucking hate him, but look at this guy.
He's on the storm front, yeah.
He's mad bloated. He's got a white beard. He looks like he might as well have just crashed his car through the fucking storefront. But But you know what? He wasn't in a car. He was riding a bike. Because he came in wearing
Really?
bike shorts.
Really?
Yeah. And he rented one movie, Henry.
Oh, and you remember, huh?
I rung him up, and I will always remember as long as I live the film I rented out to Billy Joel.
This is going to be so good. I don't want to know.
Henry,
Give me a year. Give me a year of the film.
It was a new release, I believe.
So it was around 2005.
I want to say maybe it came out in 2004 or something like that. Yeah.
It could be absolutely anything. I don't know.
It was, of course, The Butterfly Effect.
The Butterfly Effect. Is that Ashton Kutcher?
Yeah, Billy Joel. He walked into Blockbuster, looked around for about 10 minutes, and was like, I'll watch The Butterfly Effect.
Only the butterflies die young.
Yeah.
I didn't start the butterfly. It was always flying when the facts were flying. Right.
Yeah.
Well, he likes to go to extremes.
Ashton Kutcher, Amy Smart, butterflies, mighty farts.
What's the matter with the video I'm renting? Don't you dig my choice of movie?
In the butterfly effect, I've been walking in my sleep. In the butterfly below, in the Ashton so deep.
It's a butterfly effect. You never know the kind of effect it's gonna have when I go home on my new DVD player.
Sing us a song, standard def DVD. Sing us a butterfly effect.
Hey, for any of you guys looking for a great doco out there about musicians who treat other musicians like shit, look up the one where they show. I fucking don't remember, but it was on Netflix, but before, of course, it was Henry. It's about the backing musicians who make a living just being people. Oh God,
you sound like my fucking dad.
I know, I can't.
It's called 20 Feet from Stardom.
Is that what it is? You don't.
That's the movie about backup singers.
No, it's not about backup singers. It's about backup musicians. It doesn't matter. But anyway, they show like Alice Cooper and all these other people, right? And they all come across as marginally cool to very cool. And there's one big fucking asshole, and it's Billy Joel.
Yeah, duh.
Right.
Not surprising, bro.
No, I'll look up that title for next year.
Can we talk about Unbreakable?
So this movie gets rolling.
We meet, on a train.
Yes. What a sequence that is, too.
Henry, that sequence is a tour de force. It's
Jesus.
Bruce Willis on a train, and we're looking at him through the train seats. And it's like the camera keeps sort of just going. We're only seeing him through the cracks of the train seats, and it's going back and forth. It's on the move, back and forth. It's sort of like Paranormal Activity. It's a little bit like a less flashy, better version of that car sequence in Children of Men.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about. No, the Children of Men sequence is better.
No, it's not.
Okay.
But
sure.
I love that shit with him taking his wedding ring off to hit on this lady.
Yeah, and you know what? It's interesting what Shyamalan's able to pull off these arty shots, and they just don't look pretentious. They so should. Because there's really no reason
hard to
shoot
look pretentious when what you're shooting is Bruce Willis.
A really good point. Your mind immediately is like, boy, that's kind of a pretend. Oh no, it's fine. It's Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
You could get Cuarón in there filming shoot from Roma, and be losing all the artiste value in there. Am I right? Let's pretend I didn't just say that.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Sometimes I don't get. Sometimes your jokes are so bad I don't even register that they're jokes.
I think that they're so esoteric that I don't even know that they're jokes. Yeah.
Okay.
I
So
suffer from DID.
so he hits on this lady, and he kind of makes her uncomfortable a little bit. She's married too, and she gets up and leaves, and that is heartbreaking. And he puts his wedding ring back
Not
on
really.
in defeat.
It's not really heartbreaking.
It is.
It's well written because he's really awkward, and even Bruce Willis, he looks creepy. He's so bad. He's
And
clearly
he knows
so
he's
bad
being
at-
creepy. He's out of practice. He's out of practice.
Completely. He captures that very well. Like he's just like, you're looking at a guy who's like, oh boy, he is just flailing. Yeah. Drowning, if I may foreshadow.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, he's afraid of water.
Yeah.
So the train crashes, and we don't see that either. I love how it's just sort of like the noise gets louder and louder, and you can sort of see people out of focus getting slightly scared, and
Right.
it's shot really beautifully, man. I love everything about
it
that
is.
sequence.
And you just cut right to actually one of my. There's so many great shots in the movie, but from there, I think it cuts to the kid watching TV at home.
Yeah, he's upside down on the couch. He's watching Jerry Springer, by the way, and I wrote down the title of the Jerry Springer episode, which seems like a really good episode that I would like to see. Jerry Springer was the hot shit at the time, Henry. Do you remember Jerry Springer had a theatrically released movie?
I think I do.
I saw it. It was called
I'm sure.
Ringmaster.
Oh, yeah, that's
and the
right.
cover
Sure,
of it
sure.
was just a big shot of Jerry Springer. And anyway, this Jerry Springer episode the kid is watching is called My Uncle is My Pimp, which sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that does sound pretty good, I have to say.
My uncle is my pimp. How does that happen? That's an uncomfortable situation for anybody involved, I would say.
I would think so, yeah. But that next shot, right, is...
I have nieces. I don't think I'd pimp them out.
No.
We'll see how my life goes, though.
if it doesn't pan out the way you expected. By the way, that documentary is called Hired Gun.
Is that why you've been not talking as much? Because you're looking up this fucking documentary on Google?
No, because I was listening to you talk about pimping out your nieces.
Shut up. Henry.
Yes. No, I wanted to cut to the next scene. That's actually...
Oh, okay. So he's watching Jerry Springer, and his dad is Bruce Willis. I think this kid's a good kid actor.
You know, he's not terrible at all. I just find him to be... kid actors in general have a tendency, without being able to help it, to be maudlin. And so when you have a lot of mawkish dialogue for them to kind of do, you really need
I don't think this kid is maudlin. The kid is confused, and he wants something real bad. It's sort of like his character arc. His fucking character arc in this movie is the same as the character arc from the kid from the Santa Claus. Because it's like my dad is special. I can't tell anybody.
Good point.
But
we did that intentionally.
Yeah. But he plays it so much better, and it's better written. I think Shyamalan has a knack with kid actors.
I agree for what he does. Like in other movies, I think that they're not children, but in Split, I think those teenagers are great. I think in Signs, he gets kids who are younger than this one, and I think they're phenomenal.
Well, also Haley Joel Osment was nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, okay, but that was stupid. He shouldn't have been nominated for an Oscar.
Well, he's good in that movie.
There should be an age limit for that.
I think there's something to be said for Shyamalan. All the fucking kids he's chosen to be in his movies are still working today. All right?
Are they now?
Yeah.
No, you're actually right, because I had to look up this kid for my superhero camp,
Osment is still great. He's got
fat kid.
He's a fat kid, but he's good. He's a character actor now. Abigail Brez was in Signs. Well, one of the Culkins was in Signs.
Oh yeah.
He's doing great.
No, I think you're right. The kid just bugged me. Sort of like Robin Wright's neck bothers you. This kid
don't bring it up.
This This kid bothers me. But the sequence right after that is one of my favorite shots in the movie. And it's when they show David Dunn in the hospital being talked to by the doctor, played by Michael Kelly.
I was going to bring that up. Speaking of House of Cards, fucking Doug Stamper.
That's right. And the shot never moves, but you just see like the outline of somebody's stomach. And it's like breathing heavy, and then all of a sudden this patch of blood starts to spread.
Yes.
It is just amazing.
And that is the one remaining survivor other than him of this train crash, and his doctor, Michael Kelly, is telling him, like, you're about to be the lone survivor.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. By the way, things over the years that about this movie, it was always one of those movies that stuck with me, thought about, especially because I didn't guess the ending when I originally saw it. Upon this watching, and it did take me this long to realize this, was it intentional, Daniel? And this is a genuine question for you.
I'm ready.
His name is David Dunn?
Yeah. Oh, the alliteration?
Yeah.
Absolutely it was.
Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah, because Stan Lee alliteratively named all his superhero characters. And it's because Stan Lee was writing all of his comics at the time, so he named all the characters alliteratively so he could keep them he
keep
track of them. Yeah, so Bruce Banner is the Hulk, Peter Parker is Spider-Man, Scott Summers is Cyclops, Matt Murdock's Daredevil, etc.
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards, Sue Storm.
Yeah, it's crazy. But okay, I didn't know. Yeah, so that was really cool. And all the way until this viewing never occurred to me.
And that's a thing that's been done to death now too, even to the point where the Black Spider-Man and Spider-Verse was created by Brian Michael Bendis, and he named him fucking Miles Morales as a
homage.
Yeah. And
I didn't know that.
I think this was the first time I'd seen it done. It probably was done in comics. But
sure. But I mean, wow, it was really cool. All right, so what do we got next? I mean, how do we meet? Oh, we meet Sam Jackson in one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah,
that would totally be you if you worked in a place like that. That would be you.
The guy like giving who like doesn't sell this piece of comic book art to a father because he's buying it for his 4-year-old.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because that would be me if I was like selling a really prized classical music recording, and I was giving a whole thing in depth. And at the end of the conversation, somebody said, "Oh, my 5-year-old will love this recording of Schumann's Fourth Symphony," and I'll stop dead in my tracks, and I would just be like, you know what? Here's the fucking Naxos bin. Here, grab a $3.99.
Yeah, to me, it's like
what I'm saying?
I know they make comics but you know what? I maybe would have been that way about the artwork, but comics should be read by kids. More comics should be made for kids.
Selling a comic book.
No, I know. He's selling original art.
Yeah.
One of his favorite comics of all time, apparently, because there's that flashback to him opening this comic on the park bench, which is a really great shot, man. Which largely was shot in a television reflection.
Yeah.
Shyamalan does some weird shit in this movie, man.
Glass.
Ooh, that didn't even occur to me.
Didn't occur to me either. I read about it afterwards.
Smart.
I'm not that smart. Yeah, there's like a ton of that shit. The first time you see Sam Jackson's in the reflection of glass in that cell, that comic book. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay. So we meet Sam Jackson. He leaves a card on David Dunn's car, and it just says simply, when was the last time you were sick?
Something like that.
Yeah. And he can't remember. And what's more, he can't remember the last time he was injured or anything, and he finds it weird. He goes into his closet. He looks at old pictures of himself so that we can sort of put some backstory together in our heads. He also has he puts a gun to the side, and it's Chekhov's gun. So it's like, oh, I guess that'll show up in the third act. But you know what? You expect it to show up in the third act like a big action sequence, and it shows up in a way more random way in a scene that is completely disturbing and great, where the kid holds the gun to him, and it's like, you're not going to get hurt.
No shooting friends.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Boy, if that would have had a better kid actor, that scene would have really...
That's a great scene!
I'm just kidding. It's a great scene.
So anyway, he goes to see Samuel L. Jackson with the kid, and he's intrigued by what Sam Jackson has to say.
Sure. Who the hell wouldn't be? Yeah. And we get Sam Jackson's backstory of his osteoporosis, his osteoporotic degeneracy. Just the words that Sam Jackson's given to say are perfect for him to say.
I've had 56 breaks in my life, or something like that.
Yeah. He should just read. He should be like an audiobook reader.
I'm sure he does
medical dictionaries for people. Osteogenesis imperfecta.
He's great in this movie. He's one of my favorite actors, and this is one of my favorite performances by him.
Agreed and agreed and agreed and agreed.
Yeah. It's right around the same time he was Mace Windu, Henry. Which is better? Hey, both of them favor the color purple.
True.
Yeah.
And I read that was all Sammy Jackson's call.
He loves purple, man. Because remember, that was in Star Wars, too. He wanted the purple lightsaber.
Okay. Well, there you go. I mean, he made the right choice. It's, Joker colors there. So, I have to say, while we're on this movie, before we continue plot-wise, when you saw it, did you see any of this unfolding that's the best way to put it? Did you see, because, besides the twist, I mean, did you see any of this movie unfolding the way that it ended up unfolding? I did not.
No, I didn't. I don't think I did. It's been a long time since.
I know it's kind of hard to answer that.
But like I remember Sixth Sense. I didn't see that coming, and I think this movie I was a little more aware because I was like, I bet there's a twist ending. But
right.
I don't think I saw it going exactly where it went. It went to a much more interesting place than I could have predicted.
Totally agreed. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. But when you watch it this time, it's so rewarding because it upon multiple viewings, you notice all these different things, like his crazy fucking car, and like just things like that. The interior of the vehicle, his sort of lair.
Once he's in a wheelchair towards the end, like in the last half of the movie, there's that great scene where he falls down the steps and his cane breaks into 1,000 pieces. But he's in the wheelchair. I think I remember thinking at the time, like, wondering if it was maybe a reference to, like, he's Professor Xavier and Bruce Willis is like an X-Man. And then at the end of the movie thinking, oh, no, he's Magneto.
Oh, no, what?
He's Magneto.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Or Doctor Doom. I think, like, of all the villains, that's who he's closest to. But he's he's his own thing. And people complain they don't create original superheroes anymore. Even, like, the fucking... how it is celebrated The Incredibles is. It's just the Fantastic Four.
Right.
This is an original superhero concept that totally works. And
I agree.
And is totally great.
I agree. And since the movie's in kind of just beautiful sequences, it's almost better to talk about it like that instead of in a linear way. Like I love the weightlifting sequence. I mean, I
fucking love that scene. And it's funny.
That's a great scene. It's very funny. I mean, Shyamalan writes funny dialogue. I mean,
sometimes when Shyamalan decides he wants to be funny, he's usually good at it. I think maybe he's that waxes and wanes in some of the other movies, but I think he's on point in this one.
I agree. And, that's a great sequence. I love the sequence that's an unusual thing to put in the movie, but the date that they go on.
I love that scene.
Boy, I don't know where that was shot. I'm sure it's someplace in Philadelphia, maybe the Art Museum. I don't know, but there's that beautiful...
Hey, spoiler alert, it was somewhere in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that beautiful sort of auburn background.
Yeah, it looked
and,
like sort of like the
very
Philadelphia
cool.
version of Tavern on the Green.
Yeah, totally. And
Yeah.
it's just a really cool sequence. And
So, Bruce Willis also has the ability when he can like touch
Yeah.
somebody and see their like the bad that they've done. So he sort of starts to develop that when he spots a drug dealer at the stadium. He works as a
Yeah.
security guard at a football arena, and
Right.
the drug dealer's fucking M. Night Shyamalan. Dude, you're not a drug dealer. I know you want to make cameos. You want to make cameos in these movies. You could be a fucking doctor like you were in The Sixth Sense. You're no drug dealer.
Well, that's a weird scene too, though, because here's my question, and actually I misinterpreted this until again with the David Dunn name, and this I also don't think I understood it until my latest viewing. I always thought that he had the ability to like whoever he touched, he got like kind of a psychic vibe about anything in their life, like he just knew everything about it. But he only gets it if there's somebody who has physically done something wrong.
Right.
So he's not
And
like a mind reader. He's
right.
just like
There's that great scene where he goes to the bus depot and he just like
the
sort
train
of,
station.
Yeah, he's like stands in the middle of the floor and holds his
Opens
arms
his
out.
hands. Yeah. So my question is, going back to the night cameo.
Some of those shots were fucked up, by the way, man. That dude like date raping that girl,
really
and you
awful.
know he had to like stand there and like think about like that's bad, but like I'm not gonna go
Yeah,
and fight that
I
guy.
know. It's funny when you watch it. You do think that you're like, boy, what's he waiting for?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
What if nothing worse came
But, like,
around?
to me, like,
and he
that-
already lost that guy.
I know, but that's what I was thinking. Like he was like, there's the date rape guy, and he's like, well, you know, the harm's been done. She's date raped. Like in this case, it was like, oh shit, there's people locked up somewhere. I'll go find them.
It's
Yeah.
clear he's like waiting for murder or something. Like he's waiting for the capital crime.
That could have been
I
the
don't
title
know.
of this movie, Waiting for Murder.
Yeah. It's just strange. But so what I was going to say was he can be wrong, and that's never said again. Like, because he brushes by Night Shyamalan, thinks he's stolen drugs, but he's incorrect. Like, what is that?
No, I don't think he is incorrect.
What happened? He just maybe Shyamalan
lets
like
him
along
go.
the way dumped him somewhere.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Because
It's
then
a
there's that
strange
other
editing
guy
choice.
that Sam Jackson goes to follow, and it
Well,
turns
right,
out he was
right.
right. He's got that gun with the silver handle or whatever. the
It's
fuck.
that's one of the only parts that's weirdly edited because it almost makes it look like he's capable of error, but he's not. So anyway, yeah, he only goes to the train station after confirmation, right? Like Elijah Price calls him and tells him this stuff, and David Dunn calls him back. And you got to help me out. What makes him realize like he finally believes Elijah Price? It's not because the gun is silver and black. It's like there's something that happens that when he says, okay, go to where people are.
Mm-hmm.
Why does Bruce Willis, was it him remembering his car accident or going to the train wreckage site? Was that-
Absolutely, yeah,
Okay,
both.
I couldn't remember
okay, I think
all
it's
right.
just like the evidence is overwhelming at a certain point.
Okay.
Yeah, he had that car accident in college that supposedly like
scene.
ruined his football career, and it turns out that he faked the injury to be with Robin Wright.
Right.
Little
right,
did
right.
he know she'd eventually have that neck crevice.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, hey, little did she know that Bruce Willis would now look like a 98-year-old grandmother.
Bald
great-grandmother.
racist.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then that sequence when he does go to the house is
I fucking love that scene.
It is so tense. It's still tense.
Yeah.
The way it's shot. I could watch it over
That
and over.
fucking shot of him through the window trying to help the mother while the curtain's billowing, and it billows like so you could just see like little moments of them,
Yeah,
but it's all
yeah.
the right moments. It's such
Yep.
a fucking smartly shot scene. It's probably CGI, but you don't notice.
You think so?
Probably aided by technology. How can
Yeah,
they
you're
get the
probably
fucking
right.
curtain to billow so perfectly?
Yeah, you're right. Because then the orange jumpsuit just shows it. Yeah, yeah. And that shot of him falling onto the pool. What a creative thing.
And him
Like-
sort of getting swallowed by
Yes.
yeah, it's great.
It's very creative. I mean, you could have had him just fall in a body of water or drown in a sewer of rain in a rainstorm, but no, he comes up with the pool covering idea
Yeah.
and then is saved by the kids. It's just phenomenal.
And you know what? I when they first went to save him, they like stick a thing into the pool for him to grab onto, and I didn't remember this, and I thought it was Elijah's cane, and I was like, "That's
Really?"
yeah." I was like, "That's fucking bullshit," and I was about to call bullshit on the movie, but they didn't go that way.
Boy, what a weird memory. Like fake memory. That's interesting.
Yeah, sort of like when you
I know.
thought that Julie Dreyfus was going to get cut into 1,000 pieces in Kill Bill.
100% the
Yeah.
same thing. That's actually a great parallel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thought she'd be a quadriplegic with stumps. Yeah. And so then we come basically to the end of the movie, right? Where
Well, twist ending. There's that great scene also in the comic book store with
Oh, I
Sam
love
Jackson
it.
being an asshole. I love that.
gotta
shit.
get some chicken in me, man.
It's also the only scene in the movie where we see real comic books,
Yes,
which is
yes.
nice. There's a
You see
there's-
Daredevil.
You see some Daredevil. Yeah, I was gonna say.
A lot of Spider-Man.
Yeah. It's mostly Marvel, which is odd. Although kind of prescient. It's a Disney movie. They're
There
gonna
you
own
go,
Marvel
there
in
you
a
go.
few years.
It is kind of odd also because of I don't know what I'm remembering, but I remember in the comics that Shyamalan kind of makes up, like Sentry Man and
Yeah.
this other stuff. There was something about it, I can't remember. There was a reference that really made it seem like he was a DC guy.
Well,
He says kryptonite at one point.
he says kryptonite. I feel like a lot of the superhero metaphors are because the most iconic superheroes are Superman and Batman. So most of the metaphors are sort of there.
Oh, okay, right. Like he says they used to be friends. They're usually friends. That's like Lex Luthor and Superman.
But he
and all
also
that
says
kind of-
Reed Richards and Doctor Doom.
He does?
Yeah, I believe so.
He says the names. No, he doesn't. What?
Yeah, I think so.
He doesn't say the name's Reed Richards. He doesn't say anybody's name. He just says the word kryptonite.
Oh, no, when he's talking about people that were friends, like
He doesn't say any examples.
Oh, okay, never mind. Maybe that's just where my brain went.
And in that gallery, you see a Thor comic too.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, but they blur it so
Like
you
a
can barely
Sal
read the
Buscema.
letters.
All right. Whatever. Henry. So yeah, he turns
Oh,
out
you
they
can remember my
yeah,
name. It would help.
They call me Mr. Glass. That's the big moment that everyone remembers, and it turns out he's the villain. He caused all these accidents around town, including the train crash.
Yeah,
And
you got a
he was-
building fire, a train crash, and there was one more.
a bridge collapse.
I don't remember. 3 disasters. And
Yeah.
Bruce Willis shakes his hand, reads his bad deeds, sees
Yeah.
his lair with the computers, and then and that's that.
He's got like
He-
blueprints in there of like
Yeah.
It looks like something out of Project Mayhem.
And I love, totally. And I love also the actress who plays his mother.
His mom's great.
In that sequence at the end, too, because it's like, I mean, I guess we'll find out next week when we watch Glass. But to me, I've always thought she's totally knows what he does.
I
on the
totally
side.
disagree.
Oh, interesting. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not at
We
all.
need to see where that goes. I've always had the idea like she's just okay with like whatever because he's had such a horrific life. But I mean, I also just from a practical standpoint, she's never walked down into that room.
Maybe not. Who knows?
maybe not. But
She's got cataracts.
that's true. But I do love. Now we were talking about in the opening with the little statistics. I did love the credits at the end. I thought that was great.
Yeah. What about him? The credit.
Well, just if they put any, like saying like David Dunn, directed.
Oh, it's
the
odd.
authorities
Yeah,
to
it's
the-
like the end of a fucking
like it.
documentary. But it's
yeah, right.
Elijah Price is now serving time in jail, and I'm like, all right.
Well, no, but like it's comic booky because it's like an institution for the criminally
Right.
insane,
That's true.
which is not a thing that exists in the real world. They don't call it that,
Yeah,
but that's like
yeah.
such a comic booky thing, the old Arkham Asylum deal.
That's true.
So that was really, really cool. And
Or The Raft.
there you go. or Alcatraz. Who could know?
Oh, Alcatraz. What's the thing we used to say?
Oh God, I don't know. It's been a long time since we did it on this show. I think we only did it once.
I know.
What was it? Who would know? Everyone thought they vanished, but they didn't. It ends like really anticlimactically.
Yeah. Anyway,
but they weren't.
no, it's not that. So, what do you give this movie?
You know what? I've shot up a notch. I was going to go 4. I'm going to go 5.
Well, I'm going 5.
Wow.
I'm giving this movie a goddamn 5.
I'm glad. That last week you gave Kill Bill 2 5, so that's 2 in a row.
Yeah,
Good.
that's
yeah. I was at 4. I wrote it down.
I was at 4, like before I went in. Like I was expecting to give this movie a 4, and then I'm watching it, and just like every scene that came up, I was like, I fucking love this.
That's how I felt, but I was still going to stick sort of with 4. But then our discussion changed it. So yeah, it's an awesome movie, and maybe his best movie.
I think it's his best movie.
Yeah.
What? It's his best movie. It's his number 1 best movie, and it's not even that close.
You don't think it's even close?
Not super close, no.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Well, we'll get into that more, I guess, next week.
Yeah. Who's your MVP?
Right. MVP for me is Sam Jackson.
Yeah, mine too.
LVP for me is the kid.
You love going with the fucking kid, man.
I wanted to pick an actor, and all the technical aspects of the movie are on point. Music, cinematography, direction, writing, and acting. And so if I have to pick an actor who annoyed me, it's going to be the kid.
The kid doesn't bother me, man. I don't know who the LVP of this movie is.
Robin Wright's neck.
Maybe I'll go with Robin Wright's neck. No, maybe Shyamalan as an actor.
Ooh, that's really good, and that's gonna. I don't want to say too much. That's really good. Good.
Okay. Why is that what your LVP and Split is gonna be?
We're not there yet.
But he makes so much more sense as a dude who really wants to go to Hooters than he does as a drug dealer.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say anything.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Let's not go there yet.
Superhero count?
Yes, I do. Thank you very much. In this decidedly superhero movie, there is indeed a 5 count, and that will start with boy, that guy on the cues is really bad. Here we go. Bruce Willis in Red as Frank Moses.
Oh, God, right.
And Sin City as John Hartigan. Number 2, Sam Jackson as Nick Fury in Everything and as the octopus in The Spirit.
Yeah, right.
Number 3, Robin Wright in Wonder Woman.
Is she? You mean Wonder Woman's mom?
I don't believe it's her mom.
Isn't it?
I think that's Connie Nielsen.
Oh, you're right. Never mind.
General Antiope. Sorry. Antiope.
Like Calliope.
Those damn Greek names. Your boy Spencer Treat Clark plays Werner von Strucker in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
He's a treat.
Yeah. And Michael Kelly, I didn't know, but I knew he had to be in something, right? Because this guy's everywhere.
He's got to be a Nazi in a Captain America movie or something.
No. I'm going to give you another shot. I don't expect you to get the character because it's a nobody, but it's a DC movie.
Kelly, I'm going to say he works at the Daily Planet.
You know what? You could be right. He's in Man of Steel. and he was either in one of the military sequences or the Daily Planet. I couldn't find it, but Steve Lombard. So
That's I know that character.
Really?
That's Daily Planet, dude.
Good call. That's what I thought.
He's the sports reporter for the Daily Planet.
That's right. Because I thought he had interactions with Lois in that movie. I just couldn't remember. So there you go, Michael Kelly. And that's your SH count for this week.
Love it.
Well, for Unbreakable.
Love it. Should we move on to Split?
Split, please.
Split P. So M. Night Shyamalan goes off after Unbreakable. He doesn't get the money to make a sequel. He makes Signs. He makes The Village. He makes Lady in the Water. His career falls apart. He makes some for hire shit. And then he starts his slow comeback. He makes The Visit for like $2, and that does pretty well. And then he does Split. And this comes out January release. No one's expecting anything. They're not even really pushing that it's a Shyamalan movie at this point. His name is no longer a selling point.
Yeah, it's true.
And it comes out January 20th, 2017, just buried. And a budget of $9 million.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, folks. That is one of the lowest budgets for this era that we've ever covered.
Yeah, for sure.
And I did see it in the theater. It was my first return for him.
I didn't see this in theaters.
No? Okay, no. Yeah, I did. I
had
intrigued.
No interest in this.
I was intrigued. It looked pretty cool. I didn't really know or expect anything. I had no idea what was going to happen in it, but it looked pretty interesting. It was also January. I imagine of January 2017 there wasn't a lot of movies.
Yeah, but
out
January
there.
I'm usually still seeing Oscar shit.
Yeah, but I don't know, for whatever reason, and I like James McAvoy. He's a very interesting actor to me, and so I thought it looked cool, but I was not in any way expecting much. I'll say that.
I saw this months later on like a date, and it was like, it was a weird date.
You're never really entirely focused on
no, you're really not. You're really not. And so I also knew about the Unbreakable connection going in.
Oh.
So the whole movie,
you knew that.
Yeah, so the whole movie I'm just thinking like, what? How are they going to do that?
Why did you know? Did you not shield yourself?
No, I didn't give a shit about this movie until someone said it's a fucking Unbreakable sequel.
Oh, that's too bad. So you had what happened to you a little bit less overt, but with the Sixth Sense with me.
Yeah, for sure. Years later.
Because I am really, really happy that I didn't do that. I guess I must have had a reason for not looking into it too deeply. I think I read that, one of those Google headlines whenever the reviews that come up like something like "Don't let anyone tell you like that," and so I just stopped right there, and not for a second did I expect that to be what was going on. So for me, it was one of the best, coolest endings that I'd ever been able to witness in a theater, because I had no idea, none. Until, though, there was a specific moment that I knew before you're supposed to know. I think before you're supposed to know.
Interesting. Well, we'll get there.
Yeah.
So this movie comes out on a budget of $9 million, makes $278.5 million. It's a surprise hit. It came in at number 23 at the box office for 2017, right there between War for the Planet of the Apes and Wonder. And that's that kid with the ugly face.
Oh,
remember that movie, The Kid with the Ugly Face?
I remember The Man Without a Face.
It's sort of like that.
Okay.
But it's a kid without a face. So
War for the Planet of the Apes was great. Loved it.
All right. Joaquin Phoenix was originally cast in this role and was recast with McAvoy. He went off to do other shit. But James McAvoy was nominated, Henry.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
for an MTV Movie Award.
I knew that was coming.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I have a question. Unbreakable not put on any
Not nominated
AFI
for
list.
fucking... Forget AFI. It's not nominated for anything.
Well, I figured no Oscars, but AFI
But The
list?
Sixth Sense was nominated for a shit ton of Oscars.
Yeah, it was. I remember that.
They couldn't have given Unbreakable like a score or a fucking cinematography or something.
I remember even
sound.
at the time, they'd never look at that movie like
I
that.
guess.
Not now they would.
I know. When Unbreakable came out, it was considered like a flop.
Fucking A. I'm telling you, I was the only person in my old group of friends or anybody I knew who fucking liked that movie. I don't know. Yeah. I was always ahead of my time.
Yeah, you always, Henry. In another 20 years, we'll all be talking about 13 Days.
It's already been 20. Too late.
So it comes in. McAvoy, give me the fucking MTV theme.
Oh. I want my MTV.
Yeah. He was nominated for Best Performance. You know, MTV, they've done away with gender specifications.
Oh, yeah? Just performance, period.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
I didn't know MTV was still around.
Yeah, of course.
I thought they were gone.
No, I watch stuff on MTV.
Totally thought they're... Yeah.
Bro, you watch Are You the One?
Mm-hmm.
You watch The Challenge? They're great shows.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I thought I saw fucking Johnny Bananas on the train today. It might have been him.
Is it on before or after Andrew Cuomo's show on CNN?
Does he have a show? You're full of shit. Fucking...
No, I'm not! Oh, not Andrew. Sorry. That's the governor. His brother has a show.
Perry Como?
Perry Como.
Yeah.
Perry Como. No, his brother has a show. It's a great show. Anyway, go ahead.
James McAvoy lost, unfortunately, to Emma Watson for Beauty and the Beast.
Naturally.
Yeah. So this movie comes out, and it's a surprise hit. I watched it on a date. Henry saw it in theaters. McAvoy, he plays a split personality fella, but it's bullshit. It's not like... Listen... It makes so much more sense now that we know it's an Unbreakable sequel, to be honest. Because there was a little minor backlash against this movie when it first came out for like depicting a split personality guy like he's got fucking, like
they're violent.
Yeah. But now that we know he's just like a fucking supervillain, he makes so much more sense.
Well, of course it does, but I gotta say, we were just talking about this kind of stuff, but on this one, man, the movie's whether it had an Unbreakable connection or not, it's marketed clearly as this fucking dumb thriller. I mean, why do people... Who cares? I mean, what are we doing?
I get it.
What the fuck are we doing?
I get it.
It's not... You get what? Them or me?
I get them. Because if you're using a real fucking mental...
Yeah, but it's still, even that illness is even debated. So, I mean, it's not like they're taking a movie about manic depression, bipolar or manic depression or anxiety disorder. They're talking about, but it was a controversial diagnosis for like fucking 50 years.
Okay, but it's not anymore.
There are still psychologists and psychiatrists who don't particularly believe that you can live with all those people in your head.
Okay, fine. There are still some psychologists that don't think alcoholism is a disease. But
no, I know. I didn't quite think this was in the same realm because of it. I guess what I'm trying to say, you know what? I'm trying to say, I guess if you look at it from a traditional standpoint, it's offensive. But it's such a fucking goofy movie to me.
But you don't know that going in. That's why.
Sure you do. The previews showed a guy he's a cross-dresser.
No, but
he's
it's the kind of thing. But that's what it is. It's like it is kind of offensive if you're gonna do it that way. If like we're treating split personalities and they're this fucking crazy person. He's a lady. He's in a dress here, and now he's gonna kill people.
Okay, I get, but I'm trying to say, like, I guess if it was marketed as like a drama and it did this same thing, then I would get the outrage. Then it would make sense because it's trivializing something.
But what this is doing is turning a real thing into a horror movie character. But
they did that in Psycho.
Yeah, but it's more down to earth in Psycho. Listen, okay. I'm with you on outrage culture, man. These people now, people now that are saying Bryan Cranston can't play a dude in a wheelchair because he's not actually in a wheelchair. Leave me alone with that.
Well, that's
shit.
what I'm saying, man. But, I think some of it is extraordinarily valid, and I would never ever knock anything having to do with mental illness. I just thought this one was just kind of to me, it was a weird movie to pick on.
I think ultimately it works fine because it takes place in a superhero universe.
Yeah. So you think if it didn't, forget it. Yeah.
I don't think forget it. But I think to me it's questionable. And I think the second you find out it's an Unbreakable sequel, it answers the question.
But it did. But right. Okay, fine, fair point. But it didn't stop there. I remember. I mean, it didn't stop. People were still fucking pissed.
And no one's talking about it anymore.
Well, exactly, because it's a fucking movie. I mean, sometimes that's some.
But I'm just saying, like, I think now that the sequel's coming out and like they know what it is, no one really gives a shit anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember there being an outrage from the osteoporotic community about Glass. Hey, not everyone who has breakable bones and are so fragile physically turns into a psychopath.
All right, Henry.
Right? I'm right, aren't I?
Can we do your top 10 2017 real quick?
Yeah.
I want to thank the people who tried to give me my list on the internet. All-Terrain Biker sent me an early version of my list, which isn't the real thing. And Logan B. Adair sent me my 2016 list. Thanks, buddy. So anyway.
Well, we'd like to thank our listeners for trying to bail Dan out.
Yeah.
He got the year wrong. So right before we went on air, I'm combing our episodes, and I finally found it on Infinity Avengers Infinity.
Anyway, what the fuck, man? What's your number 10?
Yeah, you should rush me. Try it. Go ahead. Do it. Honorable mention. I got one.
Go ahead. I've got plenty, I'm sure, but I'm not going to read
them. I only have one. Split.
All right.
What? Number 10, Mother.
Mine's I, Tanya.
Great movie. Number 9, T2. Trainspotting 2.
Piece of shit. I have Mother over there.
Number 8, the Academy Award winning documentary Icarus.
All right, mine's Brigsby Bear.
Okay. Number 7.
Okay.
Sorry, Paddington. Number 7 is Logan.
My number 7 is A Ghost Story.
Number 6 is Get Out.
My number 6 is The Killing of a Sacred Deer. Now moved down the list of my Yorgos Lanthimos rankings.
Ooh, you saw The Favorite?
Yep, it's great.
Next on my list. Yeah, can't wait. I'll just verbalize this live. Heavy hitters.
Okay.
Number 5, Blade Runner.
Blade Runner? Blade Runner 8092.
It's the Batmite version of Blade Runner 2049.
My number 5 is Stronger, which I really appreciated when All-Terrain Biker sent me my list. He wrote that movie out as Strong Girl.
Never saw it. Number 4, and I rewatched it for the first time. It's a masterpiece, along with Blade Runner and Get Out on my list. Dunkirk.
It sucks. My number
It's a masterpiece.
That movie fucking sucks.
100% masterpiece.
You've got a couple of movies on your list, Henry, that legit suck.
Yeah, T2 and Dunkirk
They
and Blade
suck.
Runner.
Yeah, Blade Runner is the best of the
Right.
three.
Yeah, right. Sure. Yeah. T2, I'm going to let you have it. I'm not Dunkirk. You're just.
The movie's garbage.
It's not your. You don't. Forget it. It's not made for you.
No, see, you know what? That's the difference between you and me, man. Roma and Dunkirk. They're both beautiful looking movies. One's got some fucking heart, and one.
Oh, yeah? One had a story?
Yeah.
I missed it. I fucking missed that story.
One's a coming of age tale. One's a fucking coming down from a fucking airplane tale. Who gives a shit?
So sweet coming of age story. Okay.
Yeah. Who came of age in that fucking movie? Tom Hardy's face?
I'm not even. We don't have time. We don't have time.
Number 4 is Lady Bird.
Still never saw it.
That's fucking crazy.
I know.
But keep rewatching Dunkirk. Go ahead. Spend another 3 hours of
I'm
your
going to watch it
goddamn
another
life.
time.
Yeah.
It's actually under 2 hours, that movie. It's an hour 45.
There's no way.
Yeah,
that
look
movie
it up.
feels 9 years long.
Number 3. The great documentary, LA 92.
My number 3 is The Florida Project. It is. It's a fucking hour 46. It feels terminal.
I think you were
It
having
feels
a bad day.
like I'm going to spend the rest of my life watching it.
That's how they felt on that beach.
Is that what it's trying to get you to feel that
No,
way?
I couldn't resist.
Oh, God.
Number 2, another movie that proves your strange taste. Number 2 movie that year, another masterpiece, and I'm using that word, Hostels.
That movie sucks. Henry, this is your worst list ever.
You pick some strange movies to say suck, my friend. You're very bold. You might think it's my worst year, but I think this is some of your worst taste. I don't get it.
You're nuts. My number 2 is Get Out.
Yeah, all right. Well, we agree on the number.
Did you have Get Out on your list?
Of course.
Okay. My number, of course. Number 1, we have Phantom Thread.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Of course. It's a masterpiece, and I own that, and I'm meaning to rewatch that.
Maybe watch Lady Bird first.
No, I'd rather watch Phantom Thread. I want to see it again.
What'd you like about Split so much?
All right. Well, this is interesting because I actually don't remember us ever discussing this in private or anything. So I honestly wasn't sure about your opinion. Did you really not care for the movie?
No, I like it. I like it. But, I mean,
I like it too.
it's not even like honorable mention material.
Well, I didn't look around for my 2017 to redo it or anything. I just kind of picked up my old list. So when I had just watched Split and I really enjoyed it, so I was like, let me throw this on there as an HM. But having said that, there were a lot of 2017 movies that I have now seen that would probably supplant it.
And a bunch that you refuse to see.
I refuse. I sat through Florida Project. I saw quite a few things that I only saw on the Recs of Friends. Killing of a Sacred Deer I saw because of the director, and that pretty much bored me to tears. Even though I love all the other 2 movies he's made.
There's like 4 movies on my list that you just won't watch.
What?
Brigsby Bear, A Ghost Story, Stronger, and Lady Bird.
No, I would watch Stronger and Lady Bird. A Ghost Story, I find that interesting just because I pretty much was hated by the world.
No,
so
a
I'm
lot of people
curious.
loved that movie.
Did they?
And yes. And I just saw the new film by that filmmaker, and it was very good.
What is it?
The Old Man and the Gun.
You saw that?
Yeah.
Really? Sounds like something that Henry would see.
No, I saw it
and that
because
you
the
would-
director had made a ghost story, which was great.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not going to watch Brigsby Bear. I'm sorry.
It's not a kids movie. You get that, right?
Yeah.
All right, it's fucking
Let's talk about Split.
For fuck's sake, this movie starts great. All right, so
Sure does.
the part where he gets in the car and he fucking kidnaps the girls. First of all, it's right off the bat. It should clue you in that it's an Unbreakable riff, man, because the way he shoots through the doors. I mean, not through the doors, through the seat belt and through the chairs in the car.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
The-
He just go ahead.
Listen, there's a lot of stuff in this movie that is like a split metaphor. So he'll like pop a thing in the middle of the frame so that the screen is split. It's obvious. But in this scene in particular, he's moving the camera back and forth like the fucking train scene in Unbreakable.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
awesome.
Okay.
And I love it. And James McAvoy's great in this scene. And the girls are really good. And I love that girl from Thoroughbreds. And I'm in on this movie.
I saw her also in The Witch and Morgan.
Yep.
And
She's
great
good in The
both of those.
Witch. Yeah. And the one girl's doing an American accent.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, there's one of those girls, not the blonde one, the other one. She's in Skins. I knew her from Skins.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, speaking of accents, man, holy shit, McAvoy can really do a lot. I'm surprised. I mean,
Listen,
I guess
this is one of those movies that it rises and falls based on the performance, man. Like, Shyamalan can do what he does, and he's on point in this movie. He's putting the camera in interesting places. He's telling the story well. On a $9 million budget, it takes place largely confined to this like underground cavern. But this is a movie where, listen, it's not surprising he cast Joaquin Phoenix originally, and you need an actor with like range and someone who can surprise you. Like you need like a fucking Tom Hardy in this role.
Well, you know what? That's a good point, but I'm glad he didn't cast Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, I'm glad he didn't take the role because I think Joaquin Phoenix always has like an I love him, first of all, a great actor, but one of our finest. But he always has that undercurrent of menace.
Plus, it would have been like all 23 of those guys have a hair lip.
Neck holes and hair lips.
No, but
Billy Joel's.
But McAvoy, who's an actor, like I never even thought much of.
Choice.
I never, because I've seen him in a ton of shit. I like him in those like period pieces, Atonement or whatever. And he's a good Professor Xavier.
He's a great Professor.
But
Xavier,
I feel like I never saw this dude in anything where I was like, I lost my mind. Where I don't think anything he'd done before this movie would have prepared me that he can do this well.
I agree with that. However, I wasn't surprised that he has gravitas and he is able to do something like seriously in depth and nutsoid, because the first time I ever saw him, I was looking at his filmography. I'm pretty sure it's the first time I ever saw him was The Last King of Scotland. And I didn't know who the fuck he was. I thought I was like, oh, who's this Ewan McGregor lookalike? And I remember him being so fucking great in that movie. I was always interested. I mean, he was in that some garbage. I mean, he was in that Jolie film Wanted.
That's an okay movie.
Yeah, I didn't see it. That was a judgment.
That's a Mark Millar comic, bro.
I know. It's in my superhero count.
Right.
Spoiler alert.
I think the first thing I ever saw him in was Wimbledon, the Kirsten Dunst tennis rom-com.
Yeah, I didn't see it. But
I saw that movie because Kirsten, in all seriousness, I rented that movie because on the cover of it at Blockbuster, Kirsten Dunst has a sweaty arm, and I thought she looked hot.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
Check out the cover of that movie, gang. Tell me that sweaty arm doesn't look good to you.
I know the cover you're speaking of too. That's so fucking stupid that I know that. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. By the way, on a side note, I was thinking about when we were adding to the list of what we've been called over the years on this show. I will have gracefully have put us into somebody checking us into being insensitive to the mentally. What would be the word? So I don't make it
challenged.
Worse. Mentally challenged people. Yeah. So now we can say that Henry put us in that category. So that's good.
Yeah. Also, fucking Bryan Cranston should be allowed to play a cripple.
Hey, if they let Weeping Willie Fantastic Beasts guy do it, they should let Bryan Cranston do it.
All right, Henry.
Yeah. Sorry. So. So anyway, no, Last King of Scotland, and then there was one other. Oh yeah, he made that garbage. I did see Filth.
I don't even know what that is.
Junk. And then he was in Danny Boyle's Trance, which was
I've seen him in all kinds of shit. State of Play, he was good.
In the show, right?
Yeah, the British show. Fucking wasn't he Pride and Prejudice or something? I feel like I saw him in something like that.
One of them Brit things.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's good, and he's really, and the girl is excellent, and yeah. So I don't know. I really dug this, and this is only the second time I saw it. Obviously, it came out. I saw it.
Yeah,
in
me
theater.
too.
And knowing now what I knew then, it's even better. And it's kind of hard to talk about it without talking about my first experience. So I'm just going to interweave them together. And but I mean, I think he's really on his game with all the camera work. There's a specific thing I obviously forgot about, which I just thought was one of those masterful kind of Shyamalan moments. It's not even the end of the movie. It feels like it's the very end when he's kind of there's only music playing, different composer this time.
Although he brought the James Newton Howard score back at the end.
I'm getting there. Yeah. I'm getting there. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where the one girl is trying to get with the hanger, trying to unlock.
I was going to bring that up because that could be so stupid.
Yes,
and
it could.
It's like something out of like a WB show or something. I was thinking like there's 1,000 episodes of Buffy where like Angel is locked somewhere. He's trying to get out.
But he cuts out the dialogue and just plays the music and shows the other girl screaming and then interweaving between the train.
He's so good at tension.
He really, really is, and I have to admit, I feel kind of stupid because I only read it afterwards. I wish I would have figured this out at the time, but I had been going into the movie being prepared to look for this train connection. Totally missed it. Didn't understand that when he was on the train at the end, that was at least the line of the train.
I didn't realize that until you're telling me right now.
Okay, good. So I'm not alone because that's the fucking only connection. So apparently,
is that why it's called the fucking train?
Yeah, like I guess when he says his dad got on a train and never came back, well, that was the train he was on. I think he went on. He was one of the people who died in that crash that Bruce Willis survived.
Oh, holy shit! I never put that together.
Yeah, and then I also read something weird that I love this shit. Fan mythology that was then confirmed by Night Shyamalan, which either, to me, the way I read it, was it either meant that Shyamalan was like, oh, fuck, I didn't think of that, but that's a good idea. Yes, you're right, fans. Or...
So what is it?
In Unbreakable, when he's in the... David Dunn is in the stadium, and he gets a few people, brushes by him. There's that woman who brushes by with her kid, and she clearly like abuses the kid.
Yeah, I fucking read this.
That's the kid.
Yeah, it's James
Shyamalan's
McAvoy.
like, yes, that's it. That's him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, Night. I don't know about that, but
it's ridiculous.
I mean, fine, okay, but you don't have to really say that.
Back to the movie that we're actually watching. That
I'm
is a
talking
movie
about that
exists.
movie. It's the character that he's saying was already in another one.
I know.
I don't think it was.
But this is fan theories. Can we talk about what's on the screen?
You're still sore about my 2017 list.
Well, no, I'm not sore about it. It's just really bad.
All right. So I like the scenes with all the scenes with the psychiatrist.
I love
thought
that. Who's that actress? She's really good.
She is one of Shyamalan likes her a lot. He dedicated the movie to her. She's one of those
What,
people.
she die?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
No, I'm wrong. She didn't die. The old woman in Unbreakable died. He picks these old women he's seen in like television shows, I think, growing up. And there's the woman who tells Bruce Willis that she witnessed a horse die and had to put it out of its misery or something. He picks these old actresses. And so this is one of those actresses. I think her name's Betty Buckley.
Oh, I know Betty Buckley. She's in Lost.
There you go. And he dedicated Unbreakable to the other old woman. So this old woman is really good, right? I mean, I never saw her in a fucking thing, but she's very good.
Yeah, I liked her a lot. I like that therapist character. I like the whole thing where he only ever sees her in that house that she runs her fucking business out of, and then we don't know quite where he lives. Like, where the fuck are they until the very end? And it turns out to be under a zoo, which is really odd.
Fucking crazy.
It's very super. It's like the fucking Gotham Zoo in Batman Returns, and
but better.
No, nothing's better. And I really like that stuff. She Skypes in. By the way, she delivers a lecture over Skype to a school in England. And say what you will about the depiction of split personalities, the most unrealistic thing in this movie is how well Skype works.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I know. Oddly enough, I had the exact same thought when I was doing it. I was like, boy, that's a good connection.
What a connection. Who's your favorite of the splits?
Oh, that's a good question. I like that question. I actually like, my favorite one is the one you only see on the computer screen, but then get a glimpse of at the very end when he's losing his fucking mind completely. I like the guy who talks about ancient history.
You would. Yeah, no, I like that.
No, it's just really funny because he's an opponent of the beast, right? And he's just saying, it's just like when Hannibal and Carthage, and it's like, what? I just thought that was just out of left field. Well, they're all good. I mean, probably my least favorite, and it might be the way McAvoy honestly conveys it, is the Hedwig.
That's my favorite.
It's a little much.
I think it's funny though. Much. It is a little much, but
it is funny. I agree.
It warrants
when
itself.
He's dancing.
That I love when he's dancing.
I do too.
I love when he kisses the girl from Thoroughbreds, and he goes.
Yeah, I do too. I just
and
thought
he goes, "You might be pregnant now."
No, I agree. That was funny. I thought it was just kind of a. I mean, look, I can't give him too much guff. I mean, he's asked to basically come up with all these characters, the way they sound and the way they act, and like three of them have inexplicably have like Brooklyn accents.
Well, because that's what he's British actor, and that's what British actors think American accents are.
Good call. The go-to American accent. Yeah.
He sounds like fucking Tom Hardy in Venom.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
I didn't see Venom. Yeah. Okay. All right. Netflix pushed that back on me. Short wait.
Oh, that's because they probably have like 4 copies of it because Disney's hoarding them all for their own streaming service that's coming up soon.
Got it.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And I think the movie could have run into danger with like taking on a similar tone. No, not a similar setting to like 10 Cloverfield Lane, where you're going to be in a confined space the entire time. But he doesn't spend that much time. Actually, he doesn't spend that much time in that space,
and it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel as claustrophobic. First of all, which is what you're saying, and also John Goodman. The interesting thing about 10 Cloverfield Lane and why I think it's a better movie than this is John Goodman is treated as such a normal guy for such a large section of the movie until it turns.
Right.
And James McAvoy from moment one is just a fucking maniac.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Well, what was your favorite? Oh, you Hedwig.
Yeah,
Okay,
I loved
sorry.
I loved Hedwig.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was interesting, sorting out those personalities. I liked the sense of kind of menace whenever he's in those psychiatric sessions where you don't know what's going to set him off.
I love when he does the thing where he's pretending to be one of the other
That
splits,
is
and
really
he's like
good.
doing too good a job at it, and she
Yes.
notices like he's not. That's not natural.
It's not Barry. It's your Dennis.
Yeah. I love that
agree.
shit.
And one of my favorite things in the movie was definitely one of the reasons that I've always liked M. Night Shyamalan is that when I was watching the movie in the theater, and I knew at some point we were going to get this beast, I could rest assured that he leaves so much to your imagination, because that's the kind of filmmaker he is, in the Hitchcock tradition of that.
Yeah, he's the master of suspense.
That's right. That I knew we weren't going to get some insane, over-the-top, crazy, hairy tiger man.
Well,
but I knew we'd get something, and I like what we get.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I didn't need him to be crawling on walls, but it was sufficiently creepy, and I like the shots of just him like from the back, just like appearing bigger. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I like that shit.
Like they just bulge his veins out and they darken his eyes. And that's about it. And there's, a few shots of him walking on walls, but then again, it makes, more sense when you're given the ending. And I always like that in his movies. I liked it in Unbreakable. I liked it in Split. I liked it in Signs, where a lot of it is off screen. I think that's one of his strongest suits, is that he creates tension. We haven't really said this. You usually bring this up because you were talking about last week with Tarantino. But when he's on, he really, really writes good dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like he's just really good at when he has a camera focused on somebody and they are just talking. He really creates a story out of one person just giving kind of a mini soliloquy.
He's not super great at young people dialogue.
No, because he's trying to know the way they talk.
Yeah,
he's one of those.
He's not really great at that. I noticed that in The Visit, and it shows up again here, and it's why the most realistic character in the movie of the young girls is the Anya. What's her name? Anya Taylor something.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Anya Taylor-Joy character, because she is not. She's been abused, and so she's more grown up than the other kids. So he can write her as the weird one.
You're right. Yeah. That was very disturbing. I
didn't need it, man.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't. Also, it's more disturbing because I didn't remember that at the end. Another false memory. When the little girl is pointing the shotgun when she's a little girl and pointing a shotgun, I thought she killed him.
I did too.
Did you?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh no, wait, she went to live with this motherfucker?
Yeah, once she gets away, if she gets away from James McAvoy, she has to go back living with this uncle who rapes her. And she
maybe the cop. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, on the one hand, those scenes are well shot and they're not super exploitative, and I like Brad William Henke as an actor quite a bit, but I just don't need it in this movie, and it's again too simple. We're connecting these two characters through abuse. This guy is this way because of abuse. I don't need it. Reminded me of fucking the Rob Zombie Halloween. When we see look how bad his family was. That's how he ended up this way. I don't need these simple explanations. I don't need an origin to make him the little.
Well, she can say it. She can just say
no.
Give her a sequence where.
Just leave it. Leave
Yeah.
it. This is a silly movie about a fucking guy with crazy. He dresses in dresses and he walks on walls and he grows veiny muscles. I
Right,
don't
right.
need, uncle rape flashbacks.
I completely agree, and the only solace I'll take in that is I think that when the cop opens the door and the girl hesitates, I feel like, okay, maybe she won't go back to him. Maybe she's going to tell that.
Oh, that's
cop.
good payoff, and I think she's in Glass.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see where they go.
I know
with
she
that.
is. Yeah, she's in it. So, yeah. So I'm sure she got out of that situation.
She's really good. I think this
She
actress
really
is
is.
gonna be a thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, could have told you that from The Witch, man.
Yeah.
You know.
And you didn't see
Thomasin.
Thoroughbreds?
No, like I said, I saw her in The Witch and Morgan, which
Yeah.
is a subpar movie, but she's superb in it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I did not see Thoroughbreds. It's really good though, right? I heard.
It's very good. It's certainly worth watching, and she's one of the best parts of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The performances are like that's a movie that when I saw it, I gave it like a 3 or whatever on Letterboxd, and it's a movie that stuck with me. Like I think about it a lot.
Oh, all right.
So
Gotta
there's
go
something
it
to be
up.
said for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, can I tell you then that this was really cool, and this is what happened in the theater, and then it happened again this time because I forgot. Obviously, I knew that it was tied into Unbreakable this viewing, but when I was first watching it, so I knew that it was tied into Unbreakable before you see Bruce Willis and before the woman in the diner says, "Wasn't there a guy 15 years ago in a wheelchair that they took away?"
And he had a silly name too.
That's right. When I knew it, and I'm not saying I was super, but I have a good ear, so I catch these things. I'm a fucking weirdo maniac when it comes to movie scores. Is when McAvoy is looking in the mirror at in his very last sequence, and he's having Miss Patricia and Dennis talk about how the Beast is going to take over. You start to hear the James Newton Howard score.
Yeah. I noticed it now, having watched this movie back to back with Unbreakable, but I absolutely did not catch that the first time I saw it.
Right, and I did, because I always loved that score, no joke, and I always remembered that score. And so when it kicked in the movie theater, I was literally blown away. I was like, no fucking way! I was like, no way! Like, so it was the music cue.
Yeah.
That got me. And then
there's Bruce Willis at the diner.
Yeah, and I was just like, you know what, man? And I remember, so the movie ends, and I remember thinking, like, I gotta say, and I still think this, and I know you're gonna think this is probably a overblown statement, and that's fine, but I couldn't think of another time when I was in a theater and 16 and a half, 17 years had elapsed, and I was so in the dark about something that I had no idea, and it fucking shows up to be a sequel to one of my favorite movies.
That's pretty unique.
It was right. I mean, it really is unique. And I mean, whether or not it's a great movie, fine. But that connection was it was safe with me. It didn't get blown. And I was so happy that it wasn't blown for me, because I don't know when I'll see anything like that again happen. I mean, what are we gonna? Maybe there'll be a Chris Nolan movie in 16 years, and Christian Bale will show up as Batman.
No.
I can't. Right. So I don't know when it'll happen. So it was pretty cool, man. I think that was pretty good, and I overall really liked this movie a lot. I thought it really didn't have many bad parts.
What do you give it?
I'm giving it 4.
All right, I'll give it a 3.
Okay. All right. I had no barometer of where you were going to be, so...
To me, this is like a solid movie that I would have happily seen once and never seen again, and now it's an Unbreakable sequel, so I have to take it more seriously.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. All right. My MVP, I would like to pick Anya Taylor-Joy, but I'm
you
gotta
go
with James
McAvoy. The movie rests on
right.
his abnormally large, beast-like shoulders.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And my LVP was easy. It's your LVP from Unbreakable, and that is Knight's cameo.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was all right with him.
No need. No need.
He's got to do it. He's got to show up, man.
You know what? I want him to. I like his cameos. I think, unlike you, I liked his Unbreakable cameo. I like his Sixth Sense cameo. I love his cameo in Signs.
No, it's too long in Signs. He has too much to do.
He does, but I like it. And in this one, I'm just like, dude, what are you doing?
He's having a real nice time.
What are you doing? What is he anyway? The building super?
I thought he was like an editor or something. He was like a tech
he's watching
guy.
the outside of a building that they're in, and they're watching the footage of the cameras of outside her building.
Yeah, I thought he was a tech guy working on the cameras.
She just called in a tech.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
She
Fucking
Skyped him over.
Shyamalan. And by the way, is he a drug dealer? Now that this is in the same universe.
Yeah, it's the same character.
Yeah, it's the same character.
Yeah, he not convicted.
No, I think he like turned a new leaf.
Turned a new leaf.
He was just selling drugs to get through tech guy school.
Did he come up from Mexico in a caravan? Is that how he was selling drugs? All right, so
they're rapists, Henry.
Yeah. Who's your LVP?
Oh,
One of the girls?
Yeah, maybe. I think the one from Skins. I liked her, but like
they didn't give her much.
I know. She could have been more of a character.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, I don't know. Whatever.
Whatever. It's just a show we do. Okay, hold on. I got a quick superhero count. Oh, there you go.
What? Oh.
All right. James McAvoy in X-Men as Professor X. And Wanted counts.
Yeah.
Because it was Mark
What's his
Lamar.
name? Wesley in that?
Wesley Gibson, yeah.
Thank you, yeah.
Well done. Anya Taylor-Joy.
I know this. I'm really fucking excited about this, actually. She's playing Ilyana Rasputin in the New Mutants X-Men spinoff. Yeah, Magic. Yeah, I love that character, and it's great casting.
I don't know if I know that character.
Great character.
All right. This was fun. Betty Buckley.
Okay.
Is in the series Supergirl as a character named Patricia Arias.
All right.
And she's a little character called Madame Marie Angèle in a little show called...
Oh, she's Grandma. That's right. She plays Grandma in season 3 of Preacher. She was like the main villain that year. Great.
Got your back, see?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And finally... There's a character in this movie in Split called Hannah, and I still couldn't. I looked everywhere. I don't know who it was, but it's played by an actor named Kim Director.
Oh, she's the girl from
I know that actor
from Blair Witch 2. That's what I know her from.
Right, I think
and she's in The Deuce. I think she's in The Deuce.
That right, exactly. But she's in this movie somewhere. Maybe they cut her part. I don't know.
You know, they might have, because supposedly there was a part in this movie that Sterling K. Brown played, and they cut it out of the movie.
Oh, there you go. Maybe. Anyway, she plays Lacey White in the television series Gotham.
Okay. By the way, guy who recommended Gotham, Gallagher's
Bryce
turning
Ash.
on it a little bit in season 3. He's not as into it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
All
right. So what a great episode, Henry. One of our longest ever. And I would like to say next week, come on back. It's gonna be a shorter one. We'll rank all the Shyamalans, and we're gonna talk about Glass, which I'm excited to see.